Qalupalik. The Qalupalik is a creature of Inuit legend described as being human-like and having green skin with long hair and very long fingernails. She lives in the sea and hums to entice children to come closer to the water, and wears an amari, a parka worn by Inuit women to hold the child against the back, in a built-in baby pouch just below the hood. Parents and elders tell children that if they are disobedient or wander a bit too close to the seashore, that the Qalupalik will come on shore, put them in her amari, and take them back to the sea with her, never to be seen by their friends or family again. She depends on children to keep her young, to keep her skin green and hair long. She's said to be half human and half sea creature, and gets younger with every child that she consumes. So, if you're standing on the shore of the Arctic Ocean and hear a woman humming, you better run, and run fast. The Alaska Bushman, or Tornet. The story goes the Inuit and the Tornets lived peacefully in villages near each other and shared common hunting grounds. The Inuit people built and used kayaks for hunting, while the Tornets weren't able to master building kayaks. They were very aware of the advantages of having and using one. One of the stories goes that a young Tornet borrowed a young Inuit's kayak without asking, and damaged the bottom of it, making it no longer able to sail. The young Inuit became very angry and stabbed the Tornet in the neck while he was sleeping, killing him. The rest of the Tornets feared that they too would be killed by the Inuit and fled the country, rarely to be seen again. Since then, many stories have come out of the bush of hunters disappearing, later found dead and mangled, or simply never seen again. Apparently, hunters and the Tornets no longer peacefully shared the common hunting grounds. Every spring, a family would pack up and head to the Willow for a week to fish for salmon in the rivers. His story goes, one particularly rainy and cold spring, my father, brother, and I were pulling in salmon after salmon when a nasty, skunky, musty smell floated towards us. It suddenly dawned on me that most of the other fishing families had quietly and quickly disappeared. Mr. Panelo always fished with a shotgun by his side. My own father was always armed with a Colt 45, and now he unsnapped the holster and quickly told us to reel in our gear and pack up. Since we'd only been fishing for about an hour, it wasn't anywhere near dark. All of us kids were a little confused, but knowing not to question our dads when they gave us an order, we did what we were told. I whispered to my dad, asking what's wrong, and he whispered back, "Bear." But I wasn't so sure. I never smelled a bear like that. As we were crossing over the railroad bridge, I remember looking at some trees that had been uprooted and then stuck in the ground upside down. I often wondered why and how someone could do that. I learned many years later that that was a telltale sign of Bigfoot territory. I guess I'll never know if it was a bear, a Bigfoot, or the Tornet, but I do know that was the last time our families ever fished at that river. It was also the first and only time that us kids got to sleep in the camping trailer instead of tents. Qalupalik. The Qalupalik is described as an evil earth spirit that takes the form of a black, hairless dog with only hair on its feet. If a trail of dog tracks is found that suddenly disappear, it's believed that the Qalupalik is nearby, stalking you. They are said to mostly attack when travelers are alone and far from their homes in the dead of night. The traveler is attacked by this gnarling dog that will soon end their lives, devouring them, so there is no trace left. The Adlet. Another legend from the Inuit. The Adlet are a race of people said to have the lower body of dogs and the upper body of humans. Typically, they're believed to be the offspring of an Inuit woman and a dog, brought about through an unnatural mating process. It is said that the woman gave birth to 10 children, half of whom were dogs, and the other half Adlet. The family was sent to a remote island because they were so voracious, and their grandfather would hunt for them and provide them with meat. Every day, the dog husband was supposed to swim from the island to the mainland, where the grandfather was supposed to fill a pair of boots wrapped around the dog's neck with meat. Eventually, the grandfather was said to have filled the boots with rocks, drowning the husband. Fearing for her children's lives, the mother sent them inland, where they spawned more Adlet. The Adlet are typically portrayed as aggressive savages who will attack men when they cross paths. In some cases, they are even cannibals. Although the Adlet legend is based on far north mythology, a version of this story also appears in Greenland. A few researchers have linked it to European tales of the werewolf. Shortly after studying the Adlet, the wonderfully gory movie American Werewolf in London came out. Alaska's Bermuda Triangle. Alaska's Bermuda Triangle is said to encompass a large sprawling section of the state, all the way from the southeastern region and up to the north of the Barrow Mountain Range and to Anchorage in the middle of the state. Within this zone are vast areas of largely unexplored wilderness, including sprawling forests, craggy mountain peaks, and desolate barren tundra. The region sports an unusually high number of people, both tourists and locals, who go missing every year without a trace, as if they have just vanished off the face of the planet. It's said that since 1988, a staggering 16,000 people have vanished in the so-called Alaskan Triangle, never to be seen or heard from again. In October of 1972, an airplane carrying none other than two prominent politicians, House Majority Leader Hale Boggs and Representative Nick Begich, along with the aide, Russell Brown, and their bush pilot, Don Johns, mysteriously vanished in the region while on their way from Anchorage to Juneau aboard an aircraft. The disappearance of such prestigious public figures sparked an intense search that lasted for 39 days and involved over 400 aircrafts, including an advanced Air Force SR-71 and dozens of boats, including 12 from the Coast Guard, Yet no evidence of what happened to the 3 men or the plane was ever found, and the men were eventually declared dead. The disappearance actually sparked some conspiracy theories at the time, with some people claiming that the crash had been orchestrated, or at least covered up by the head of the FBI at the time, J. Edgar Hoover, in response to intense power struggles he had with Boggs. To this day, no trace of the men or the plane, not so much as a bolt or scrap of metal, has ever been found. I hope you ghouls enjoyed these Alaskan urban legends, and I apologize for me terribly, horribly, just devastatingly butchering all of these natives' language words. I could not find how to pronounce them online. I looked, I tried, I did my best. Don't hate me, please. I tried. I hate myself enough for how bad I fucked some of them, most of them up. But yeah, I'm sorry these aren't longer. I really, really wanted them to be like long videos, but it's just hard to find like an urban legend with like this really long, lengthy thing. Like this last one, the Alaska Bermuda Triangle, which I think is really fucking cool and also really fucking scary. Like, I part of me wants to move to Alaska, but also, like, I don't want to disappear in a triangle, which is why I refuse to go anywhere near, like, the Bermuda Triangle, because I am, like, superstitious AF with, like, these kind of, like, conspiracies. They freak me out. Either way, I hope you enjoyed them. Secret word of the day will be triangle. So use triangle somehow. Try to make a triangle. You guys are nifty. I don't know, make a triangle in the comments somehow. I don't know how you would do that, but try. But yes, as always, ghouls, the last video will be on the top left, the next video will be on the bottom left. All my social medias are on the screen as well as in the description box below. And remember, there's always someone or something watching you.